5 years ago today, a time capsule was buried. And the time has come to open it. This is a little letter, a time capsule, really, if you will, for Chris in the year 2025. I will not play this back until then. Hey, Chris. Hey. So, 5 years in the future, huh? What's it like? It is fantastic. You're in a much better place now than you were then in pretty much every sense of the word. 5 years doesn't sound like a lot of time until you remember it's half a decade. But then that doesn't sound like a lot of time because 5 years ago was only 2015. But now 2015 feels like a lifetime ago. I was in an entirely different environment. I was in a different state. I was in a different phase of my life. I was a different person. Sounds like a lot of time because 2015, I was a completely different person. I lived in a completely different place. Geez, so much of my life has changed since Buddy, it is about to get so much more different. I don't know if that was the correct way to phrase that, but you get the idea. There is a plane flying directly overhead. That's cool. Yeah, nothing has changed. In fact, literally one just flew right overhead again. That's a helicopter. Do you still live in LA? Do you still have helicopters flying over 24/7? Yes. I hope so. I love Los Angeles. Do you still have the same friend? Although the reason lately that they have been flying a lot overhead is because of the wildfires going on. So don't love that. Do you still hang out with like Corey and Amy? And I'm assuming like, yeah, different times now. A lot's happened there. None of which is my place to say, but yes, in fact, you literally just hung out with Amy last night, helping her tape some auditions. So Andrew and Anna and Jack and Ray. Yes. I was just back in North Carolina and hung out with Andrew and Sammy a lot and got to see their little precious baby angel who I love with all of my heart. Jeez, Andrew and Sammy have gotten married at this point. Yep. Have you married Susan? Are you still with Susan? I haven't married her yet. But I want to. And I will. And yes, we are together still. I hope so. She's amazing and fantastic, and I love her so much with all of my heart. Are you still running? And that is going to get even deeper as time goes on. You two will discover more and more about each other and grow and evolve as people and fall in love even deeper and deeper in ways that you can't even conceptualize right now. Are you still running? I really hope so. I am not, but I am. I have been going on daily evening walks for, at least since this video was filmed. In fact, I dropped off running like a month after filming this. I started to hurt my knees and was like, whoa, that's not a good sign. So I scaled it back to just walking, and it is genuinely my favorite part of the day now, because it's my excuse to just put in earbuds and listen to music uninterrupted without feeling the pressing weight of obligation, and just allowing myself to enjoy art in musical form. Now, you were running every day for like a year back in 2018, but then stopped when you went to Malaysia for 2 weeks. And that break that you were taking to recover from jet lag lasted an entire year. And it's only been this past week in 2020 that you have started back up. Buddy, that's not gonna last. I'm sorry. And I'm vastly out of shape. It's taking me a week to build back up to being able to run 1 mile consecutively. And I only did that yesterday for the first time in a year. So I know, small steps, but I'm proud of that. And I hope to continue that up. I guess. You know what's interesting too? Like in this, I say I am out of shape. And this past year, I gained a lot of weight. And I have really been working hard the past couple months to get back into the shape that I was when I recorded this video. And I'm getting there. It's working. I feel really good now, and I feel much healthier than I have before. It's just interesting to hear me say you're out of shape when that's now my goal. That though, because I keep hearing like YouTubers talk about how it, makes their mental health so much better and they just feel so much better in the day. I don't have that. I'm completely tuckered out for the rest of the day, at this point at least, and I'm hoping that goes away soon. Nope. In fact, that is the reason why your evening walk is an evening walk. I do not get mental clarity from exercise. I wish I did. What about your love hit? Well, it's not really a love hit. It's more like a love with caffeine. Because I am trying worse than ever. Worse than ever. Literally. The good news, I have stopped drinking coffee in the morning. The bad news is because my friend Lainey hooked me up with this. So every morning now, I just have a shot of caffeine, basically. This is not a sponsorship and endorsement. It's the truth. So hard to stay off of it, but it's tempting me every single day. In fact, considering that I'm releasing this on the same day that I'm filming it, I'm probably going to need to have like just a cup of tea today. Jeez, how's that gonna work with college? Yes, because it's gonna get so much worse. Speaking of helicopters. Yes, because Chris, how was college? You finished. Not yet. I accidentally skipped a semester because being homeschooled my whole life, I just didn't know how traditional school worked and didn't realize it was a deadline that you had to sign up for classes. So I missed my second semester. Because I thought you could sign up for classes like the day that they started. So my final semester got pushed from spring 2025 to fall 2025. But I didn't know that at this time. 2020 Chris here is very nervous, terrified in fact. And I have several questions. Like for example, did you actually get your CS degree? Did you stick with that? Or did you chicken out and go with something easy and kind of safe? Like, I don't know, photography or a film class. Not that... I do find it interesting though that at the time I thought of it as chickening out versus now I would say no, it is genuinely pursuing my true passion and love. I love this. But you know what? 2020, Chris? I disagree. It was not chickening out at all. It was, first of all, under the recommendation of many people in my life. This was not a decision that I made lightly, but it has brought me so much joy and so much true learning because this is a subject that I am deeply passionate about on a personal level. And so, well, yeah, like the classes can teach you a bit. Most of the actual learning happens on set and or in my personal life. I'll learn something in a class and apply that immediately when I get home to practice. And then I can use that knowledge during my freelance jobs. So everything in my life kind of reinforces each other. It really wasn't me taking the easy path. It was bringing everything around to make it complete and whole. This is what I want to do with my one shot at life. Help tell stories. It's easy or safe, but I definitely, the work would come a lot easier to me because I'm more passionate about that than a CS degree. But at this current moment, I'm worried that that is not a sustainable source of income to feed a family on because it's so incredibly freelance. So right now, you know, it's interesting. At one point, I don't know how much of this I can say publicly, but in the future, Chris, you are going to receive an opportunity where it will not be as freelance as you think it is. I think I can say that. I hope I can say that. Hoping to stick with CS. And don't get me wrong, I still enjoy, I wouldn't say as much CS as IT. You know, I still love messing around with my Raspberry Pis and that kind of stuff, but it's a hobby. And at this point in my life, I thought that that would be my career, my life, and then film would be my hobby. And now it has perfectly flipped. This is my passion, this is my love, and this is what I want to spend 80% of my time doing. But I do also have a hobby that does not involve my work in any capacity, and I still derive joy from it, but not nearly as much joy as I do derive from my job. Did you meet any new friends there in college? I really hope. I have met so many incredible, wonderful, just extremely passionate about what they do, and that passion is infectious. It makes me more passionate about what I do, especially Nathan and Michael and Anthony and Mika and Aleo. You have changed me as a person, and I am so, so grateful to be your friend. Right now in 2020, you have a few good friends here, but you want more. You want more good friends too, not friends that live, an hour and a half away constantly. Because right now, most of your friendships are over the internet. People that live across the country, in North Carolina, in Tennessee, in Texas, in Oklahoma. It'd be really great to have friends who could actually just I really felt at that time was a deep loneliness. And I'm so incredibly grateful for the friends that I either met offline and was able to stay connected with online, or met online. But this experience now of being in college and meeting folks that share the exact level of passion that I have for this, that are willing to have a 7-hour meeting where we just go through and plan out the lighting diagrams of every shot in a scene. Not because we have to, not because it's part of the homework assignment, but because it's a personal project and it's something that we truly love to do. And I don't feel like I'm a burden or a bother imposing on them by asking them to do something absolutely insane like that, is what I was craving at the time. I really want that. Because Chris, in 2020, you feel pretty lonely. I guess on a slightly happier note. Have you, continued to... You will, Chris. It gets so much better. Lonely. I guess on a slightly happier note. Have you, continued to expand your palate? Because previous you, up to this point, has been very picky about what he eats. However, because I just spent a month in Malaysia, there were oftentimes situations where normally there was food that I wouldn't have really given a second glance at, but it was my only options where I was kind of forced to try it or go hungry, and found out that I actually liked it. You don't realize how close-minded you are at this point in your life, Chris, but you truly are. And especially thanks to heavy encouragement by a mentor in my life, I have just absolutely thrown my palate gates wide open and learned to love so much more of the art and culture and just experiences of the world and of life that I had previously closed myself off to. And I'm so thankful for that. Your boy here discovered he likes eggplants. Oh yeah. I just didn't really consider them before. So that's really cool. And I'm really hoping that this will continue to expand. You know how nice it is to go to a restaurant and not read the menu as a list of checklists of, oh shoot, that contains that thing. So instantly that's not an option for me, but just to be able to blindly or just read and see what sounds good. At this point in my life, I was coming out of feeling like what made me special and unique was exclusivity, and that I was different than everyone else because I did not allow myself to experience so many wonderful things. That's not how I would have put it at the time, but that's what it was. I thought ooh, I'm deriving a sense of pride because I don't allow certain things to enter my body. I really do regret that I had this mindset for so much of my life and missed out on so many incredible experiences because of it. But it really did reinforce the thirst for experiences and appreciation of human experience and art and culture that I have now. And I guess that would not have happened without it. So, real question though is, do you like tomatoes? I do not like tomatoes. I've tried them so many times at this point. I can get them down, but I do not enjoy them. That is the one thing. Because from 1995 to 2020, that has been probably one of the most consistent things in your life, is your utter hatred of those little red orbs of death. I wonder if that's going to change. Nope. That'd be wild. It's kind of happening to me with onions. I used to absolutely detest them in any way, shape, and form, but lately, I've been enjoying the flavor. You know what that was? That was being a child and like having the taste buds of a child, but then not allowing yourself to retry things because you have this idea in your head of, oh, this is just the way that I am, and not challenging that self image that you have. Can't quite bring myself to enjoy when I'm like eating soup or something and I see the sight of an onion, then I reflexively gag. But if I just close my eyes and look away, even if I know that there is onion in the soup, as long as I don't actually see the sight of one floating, I can totally tolerate it. That's really good, and I hope that that continues. I don't like being a picky eater. It's not fun, it's not convenient, and it frankly just sucks. I know that my palate is very limited. I also just don't like retching in front of everybody. It really is about your mindset, Chris. You go into like situations where you eat with the idea in your head of, I'm probably not going to like anything, so let me find the one thing that I will like. And that's totally backwards. That's the opposite of what it should be. Are you still doing YouTube? 2020 was the start of the end of me wanting to be a YouTuber, but I still see YouTube as a wonderful place to put the videos that I always am making and always plan to make. It is now a platform for me, not a personality. I'm forever going to be making videos. That is not going to change. I'm not going to leave YouTube, but it is no longer, and I don't foresee it becoming again, a place where I make YouTuber videos. I'm sure the layout looks different though. Here's what it looks like in 2020. It looks a little bit rounder, but like, yeah. Sure, in like, heck, 3 years it's gonna look totally different because such is the way of the tubes. That's such a lame thing to say. I can't believe I just said the tubes, and that's been preserved. That, like, at this point, you were like pretending it was ironic, but you still kind of enjoyed it. Now that genuinely made me just like, I thought I was so quirky at this point. Currently, this Channelerino has like 27 Channelerino. Okay. 5 years later, you have less than that. And that's great. That's totally fine because I don't want to be a YouTuber anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Most of that did in fact come from the 2019 Malaysia trip, but that's really cool, and the only thing that's cooler than that is the fact that your vlogging channel has passed 40,000. Just bonkers, which I'm almost at the point where I would consider myself like a actual small YouTuber. I feel like 50,000 is kind of the limit of that. Once just in my mental ranking, 100,000 is like, okay, a medium YouTuber, like enough where you might get to know some of the bigger folks, but not like huge, YouTube's not going to send you packages. That's at like the couple million territory. Even still, there was like, what, 2,000 people that passed 1 million subscribers in like 2017. Also, yes, you're at 40,000 on the vlogging channel, but you're still averaging only like maybe 1,000 views a video, which is still really impressive. Don't get... On a more serious note now, I guess. How's it going with the whole like guilt thing? Where you'll realize that that's anxiety and have a lot of work, have a lot of long, intense conversations with several very close people and realize that you deserve to take up space, just as much space as you let other people take up. As an example, every other time that you have gone back to North Carolina and somebody has asked, what should we do today? Your answer has always been, whatever you want to do. And this time you decided to take up space and say what you wanted to do. Visit our old house, or visit some like old friends, or play games, or go on a drive with one of your siblings. And people were excited to do that. It was great. You will begin to fully not just hear and know, but feel that you are not a burden. It's something that I've struggled with at least since being a teenager, and I don't know why. It's just you have done a lot of self-reflecting, and you do know why. And it is an incredibly personal thing that should not just be out in public, but knowing the root, knowing the why has helped you deal with it so much. I don't know. Maybe it's actually anxiety and I just don't know that that's what it is because I haven't really looked too much into anxiety. But I also don't want to self-diagnose. I feel like if I'm going to say that I have anxiety, I want that to be an actual diagnosis to not just take away from people that are actually really suffering. It's not a severe form, thankfully, but it is real. And also, that's another example. I can take up space. I can say this is a problem that is affecting me on a daily basis, and I deserve to not feel this anymore. On a lighter note, what's fashion like in 2020? Do you still wear... You don't know, because now for both your job and for your school, you have one uniform. All black! This is just my daily wear now, basically. And it gets real hot in the summer. I love skinny jeans. Oh my gosh. No. I remember back in the days of the boot cut when I was still aggressively homeschooled and wouldn't touch skinny jeans with a 10-foot pole. I would constantly trip over my own pants because there was just so much denim fabric lying around. But you are wrong. You are wrong. Athletic shape pants are the greatest thing. And I am so grateful, and I am sorry, I am not going back to skinny jeans. You know why? Because I like to be able to squat down. I need to be able to squat down and not rip my pants on set. And like at this time, I genuinely did like skinny jeans. I wasn't just wearing them because everybody else was. But that was because I did not have to do nearly as much as I do now. And regular cut pants are so much more convenient for that. They hug so tight to your leg that you feel like you're not even wearing anything. It's great. I love it. Until you have to peel them off at the end of the day, and that feels disgusting. I do not miss that at all. What about colors? Do you still like a very like bright, white, clean, yellow aesthetic? Do you still love the color yellow? It's like just so warm. I still enjoy the color yellow. I don't know. I like, again, at this point, so much of my life was defined by YouTube aesthetics, and it was my entire personality. And now it's so much about just what's practical. And white is just so clean and pure. This is definitely your... But it is. Like, I mean, I did not paint my room blue. This is lighting just so that I stand out from the background a little bit more. Do you consider, like, around this time, 2020, as, like, the happy days? Buddy, you had no idea what was coming. No, I do not. And I'm grateful for that because I consider now to be my happy days. Later this year will be the worst time in your life. And that means that you will only be going up from there. I'm so grateful for where I am now, but it would not have happened without this. Because I kind of think they are. You know, granted, I'm not as obliviously happy as I was when I was a child, but definitely, I would say the most satisfied with myself that I am at any point in time now, especially because... And you are still so full of insecurities and anxieties, and you will become a more whole person through them. You hated every second of high school. You kind of told yourself that you weren't good at learning and kind of stupid, and that's just the way you are. And learning new things was incredibly difficult, but that's something that I'm hoping to smash with college. Yes, you are going to love it. You are going to love school and wish that it didn't just last 4 years. I want to continue to take classes just because I love school now. I love to learn. It wasn't that I didn't like school, it's that I didn't like the experience of being homeschooled in like the very difficult environment that you were in. And you are not stupid. You're graduating with an almost 4.0 GPA, and you got to this point through sheer love of it. And most importantly, you've learned how to teach yourself. And that is everything. So I hope that, even though right now I feel like I'm learning more and more about myself and becoming more and more self-confident, I hope that by the time that you watch this, you have gotten so much more of that. 30. That's so old. I hope you're happy with yourself. And you're going to be good with that. You're going to like it. You're going to be proud to be 30. I hope that you're excited for the future. You know, maybe after you finish reacting to this, which I'm sure you're gonna do. Yep. Do you want to like film one for Chris in 2030? That's a good idea. Which sounds like so far in the future. I mean, I remember being like a kid in like 2004 and thinking 2020, we're gonna have like colonies on Mars at that point, which did not happen. And it's sure not going to happen in the future. Truly feel that despite my like gaining awareness of the awfulness and atrocities in the world, and that's going to get so much worse. I've been getting better and better, or at least attempting to become a better and better person. And I hope that that continues on into the future. And that's almost where you draw your strength and your hope for the future from, because it is sure not from the external world, which is exponentially becoming worse and worse and will continue to get worse and worse. And so growing personally and improving yourself almost feels like a rebellion against that. You cannot take that away from me. To your government, to the oligarchy, to everything. You're looking back on me now and cringing. I hope that is the case, because that means that I've grown so much more as a person. Yeah, there's a little bit of cringing, but it's mostly looking back with love, which is something I was not capable of doing at this point in my life. I thought that it was progress to look back and cringe, but true progress is looking back and loving. I just want to give this Chris a hug, because I needed it. And finally, just tacking this onto the end, a quick little time capsule of just current events. The Sonic movie is released. You're trying to figure out how to set up a home server. The Wuhan virus. You figured out how to do that. Please continue your next sentence. You don't know how intense it's gonna be. The Wuhan virus is currently still like a huge thing going on in the world. You're very excited to see. When was this posted? I had no idea that in 12 days, this was legitimately before the term COVID existed. Wow. You saw Rise of Skywalker, and while you do agree with all of the complaints against it, you can completely understand how it had many issues. You just liked it for the spectacle. My opinion on that has changed since. That I will look back on and cringe at. Your boy needs his daily allowance of Twitter. The current best iPhone is the 11. The current best iPhone is the 11, and you just ordered a used 10R because, you know, the whole Note phone situation. I must have canceled that because I've never had the 10R. No, yeah, I did cancel it, and I got an 11. That's right. Wow. Oh gosh, here comes the sun. Doo doo doo. And that is why you do not use natural light when filming. You fake the sun. You think this is as bright as this lamp goes? This is literally 1% power. It's all fake. It's all fake. Your favorite movie is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Just, mwah. Oh, the Prowler theme. So there you go. It's still good, but hearing all of the like mess that were behind the scenes has kind of influenced your perception of it. You still really enjoy it as a movie, but I definitely would not say it was my favorite movie anymore. That honor I would probably give to La La Land, or maybe Singing in the Rain, honestly. I hope you're doing well, 29-year-old me, and I'll see you in 5 years. And to wrap this all up, a little message that I hope that you take with you into the future. Stay positive.
Oh my gosh.
This was a chapter in my life that I have since moved on from and learned and grown past, but look back on extremely fondly. Not cringing, but grateful that it happened. I love this past Chris. I love myself right now. And I cannot wait to see who I will grow into in the future. That is my lesson, my message to 2030 Chris, is I hope you're looking back with love, at yourself with love, and to the future with love. And once more, for old time's sake, stay positive.